Okay, let's start our Chinese character review. We're going to use these papers, we're going to use a pen, and I want you to take a look at my little planner here, which is actually in Chinese. Bought it in China. So learning Chinese for me it's practical because I lived there for a very long time. I see myself going back potentially, who knows, excuse me, playing around with all kinds of editing software here. But let's take a look at what I have learned before. And if you are curious about previous lessons or you just want to get a quick review in, you can go back to an earlier video. So let's start with the character for sleep. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance. When I started recording this video, I had the lighting over on the right-hand side, and clearly my hand is blocking, so I'm not able to see too clearly right now. But be patient because I'm going to change the lighting as soon as we get through the third character. And I may zoom in on this so that you're able to see clearly. But there we have the first character for sleep, and it has that first radical component to the character that almost looks like the character for mouth, but it has a little line drawn through it. So that's something to note. And our second radical, or second part of that character, is a little bit complicated. But what I'm going to do is put the actual character up in the left-hand corner so that you're able to see what it really should look like. So, as far as writing in Chinese, you have to keep in mind stroke order is a thing, and I would like for anyone who's watching this who is familiar with these characters and how to write them, you test me, you give me a grade. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think I did? And also, was my stroke order correct? Yes or no? Let's move on to our second character, Book. Book is quite easy, actually. I like this character, mostly because it's easy. However, I feel like that first one that I drew was a bit large. Second one, I think it's okay. I'm going to draw one more time. I think, yes, I'm going to draw one more time because practice makes perfect. So tell me, how did I do? Give me a score from 1 to 10. How close to the real character does my character look? Now, it may not be 100% accurate, and that's okay, because writing in Chinese is just like writing in any, language. There are different forms of writing. There's people who put a little curl on their letters, people who write more in cursive. Same in Chinese. However, it should be as close as possible to the actual character. Now here we have the character for learn. I put a little smiley face next to it because I really like this character. I just think it's pretty. Okay, so we didn't zoom in yet. We're going to zoom in once I get to read. We're moving on from learn to school. And I follow up with school because the character for school has the character for learn in it. This first part of the word for school is for learn, and then the second part is school. So learn school is how you would write school in Chinese. You tell me, how do you think I did? There we are, nice and close. I've zoomed in for you. It took me 4 minutes, but I realized, how are people going to see what I'm writing? So I hope you're still with me. I hope you're practicing alongside, because this isn't just for me. This is eventually going to be something that I expect for baby K to watch and learn from, and anyone else who is interested in learning how to read and write in Chinese. I really do think that this will be one of the languages of the future, because the Chinese economy, it's a bustling one, and I even found myself trying to register for something recently. I won't go into too many details on that, but I had to use Chinese and translate, so many characters. And I was thinking, it's good that I'm learning Chinese. Here we have the character for read, or or shall I say characters for read. And there are two characters. The first character is the one that means to see or to look at, and the second character is for book. So to look at books. That's how you would write read in Chinese. I think that first character is really pretty also. I like it, but it's a bit complicated, right? The second character, we've already learned that character, book. How do you think I did? I'm going to give myself a score. I think that was a 10 out of 10. My stroke order, I'm certain that it was close. I think it was good, yes. Stroke order is very important. You know, I keep saying this, but it really is, because it helps you to build muscle memory, and you really want to have that muscle memory when you're learning these characters so that you just know what stroke comes next. And I'm definitely improving. I can tell this is my second character review, and I just felt way more comfortable with writing this time around than I did the first time. And I even studied, because studying is, it's obviously important, but I studied before I made this video, and I really took it seriously. Like, let's see if I'm able to remember these strokes. Sorry, baby K got in the way there, so I'm going to rewrite the character for teacher. And our first character, wow, I forget the meaning of that first character, but I know the second character means master. So, a master. Let me see what that first character means, because I think that's really important. Okay, I'm back, and I remember now. The character is old. The first character is old, the second character is master or teacher. And yeah, it kind of looks like an old person is walking with a cane there, sort of. Now let's move on to computer. I really like the characters for forming computer in Chinese because they do somewhat look like an electric outlet. And that first component to this character is electricity. So there we have it, electric. And the second part is it's a bit more complicated, and I think that final radical or little element of the second character should be a bit closer. You'll see when I put up the real character. But in order to form computer in Chinese, you write electric, the character for electric, and brain. Electric brain, or yes, electric brain is the character for computer in Chinese. And I think that the brain kind of looks like it looks like a robot, it looks like a little robot head, doesn't it? So you tell me, how do you think I did on a scale of 1 to 10? And was my stroke order correct? Yes or no? I do think the stroke order was somewhat off, but also as I'm writing with a pen, it's not the same as the way I practice, because I practice with a paintbrush. So I don't necessarily go over these strokes over and over again. So it does come off as like, oh, she's jacking up the stroke order. But really, I'm just trying to make the characters stand out. I'm boldening them. Boldening? Is that a word? I don't know. Anyways, moving on to phone. And here we have the character for phone. Because it's an electronic device, you include the character for electric. So there we have it, our little outlet looking thing, followed by these somewhat complicated characters. And those two characters at the end, they should be closer together because they are forming actually one character. It's two radicals and one character, I believe. I'm not an expert. Yes, you see, that's how it should look. So they should be closer together. But electric speaking is how you form phone. And it's more like, a landline phone. It's not your cell phone. This is different. Cell phone is a completely different word and a completely different character. So let's move on to student. I hope by now you're looking at that first character to form student and you're seeing, hey, she drew that before. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That is the character for learn. So, the character for student is like learn or study plus student, or that character also means like raw, raw and uncooked. So, someone who is needing to be baked as far as their knowledge. You tell me how you think I did compared to the actual character. I think I'm doing quite all right. I think I'm all right. Friend, I thought it would be good for us to learn the character for friend. One, because it's easy, and two, because the character for friend, you will find it in the character for love. And I really, really love that. I love that in order for you to form love, you have to have friend involved. So it's just so practical. I love how practical, learning Chinese, written Chinese is. Spoken Chinese, well, that's a whole different can of worms. But the good thing that I know about speaking Chinese is that grammar is nowhere near the level of difficulty that it is with English or any Romance language, really. Spanish, French. The grammar rules involved in these languages are just crazy. But with Chinese, it's just easy. It's basic. But that's not the focus of my lessons. The focus of these lessons is for me to simply learn how to read and write. Notice how I haven't even pronounced any names for these characters, because that's not my focus. I know the names, I do know them, but I'm not going to say them. If you want to listen to them, you can watch a video on those, or even one of my previous videos. I definitely say the words, but I don't want to get into confusion right now. So here we have the character for family, and for some reason, I don't know why I find these characters that have more strokes in them, they're just so beautiful to me. They're so beautiful. That first character for forming family is household or home, and the second character is the character for people, person. And as you see, I didn't nail that one. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give myself an 8, unfortunately. But you know what? Such is life. I'm learning. Let's move on to the character for food. There's so many characters for food. This one, I believe I formed the character for to eat food, to eat rice. Mi fan is rice. Either way, this is Chifan. And our first character's got the radical for mouth. The little box is the radical for mouth. So whenever you see that, we're talking about speaking or, eating, anything that is involving your mouth, really. So there we have it. I'm going over these strokes to make them stand out more, mostly because, I don't know, I think I have an OCD thing when I'm writing with a pen. I just like to make things look thick. So there we have it. You tell me, how do you think I did on a scale of 1 to 10? And anyone who is familiar with Chinese, grade me. Give me a grade. Yes or no? Am I nailing these strokes? Stroke order rules, rather. Am I nailing those stroke order rules? The character for vote, honestly, I wasn't too interested in learning it, primarily. But because this year is an incredible year as far as making a decision for office of the United States of America, I said I have to learn the character for vote. But this one is so complicated. And even the second character for vote is not as I said before that I like the complicated characters, but to be honest with you, this complicated I don't like, and you'll see as I finish drawing it, because I have to take my time in putting it together. I'm just thinking, what comes next? What comes next? And there we have it. The character for vote. It took me like an entire minute just to write one word. At this point, I'll be honest, my hand is killing me. So I'm thinking about like students in school and how strong their hands must be when they're writing, because if I had to write an essay using Chinese characters, my goodness, I don't even know how I would like survive that, because when writing in English, you just kind of scribble along. It's just, I don't know. The letters and forming words using the Roman alphabet, it's not so tedious. Here you are drawing. These are pictures. Each character or each word, pretty much each character is basically an image. It's a picture, so you're drawing. So an essay is like a masterpiece if you're writing in Chinese. Whew. I'm happy that we're finished the character for vote. So there you have it. I didn't say what each character meant. I believe that first character, which is like 3 different radicals, is to send out or to cast, and that second one is your ballot. Now, Mauritius, the country, the little island nation that is off the coast of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. I said I want to learn this character because I have 2 books that feature this country, and the first book is The Mauritian Musician. Wow, as soon as I said that, I just realized I don't think I have included the character for music. We learned the character for music. Okay, I'll have to add that at the end. But yeah, Mauritius, it's a beautiful country. So I said, let's learn this character. Also, let me get familiar with it because it is featured in my books. So there we have it. It's so long. It is such a long character, and each character means something so just different. I think that first character means like Chinese, but it also means like Mao. It's pronounced Mao, and that's like the monetary unit for money in China. And the second character is like, what is it? Mali. It's interior. Li is interior. And then that third character is like looking for, seeking. It's a little different than the character that we used for looking and reading. And the fourth character is like Slavic. I'm definitely no expert, okay? I'm simply learning how to recognize these characters as it relates to breaking them down one by one exactly. That's going to be a whole different, concept for me. I'll have to actually take notes and really get serious about my studying. Again, sorry, playing around with editing. Moving on to Jamaica. So here we have the nation of Jamaica. I said, let's do this one because, well, it's a cool country. And I thought it was funny learning the meaning of each character. The first character means like tooth or ivory. And the second character, excuse me, Baby K. I'm doing a voiceover right now for our Chinese characters review. You're loud. We're almost finished. So that second character, it's ivory. And the third character is to purchase or to buy. And the final character, that final character is one character, even though it looks like 2. It's just 2 radicals forming one character. But it's like power mouth. Remember, keep in mind, anytime you see that box, that empty box, it's a mouth. So again, what do all of those meanings, how do they all form Jamaica? Well, they just do, okay? You'll have to seek a true expert. I am no expert in order for you to understand why. Why do those particular pieces form Jamaica? Let me relocate because Baby K has now joined the party and she's going to be loud. Okay, continuing on in a more quiet space. Well, you tell me, how do you think I did? Scale of 1 to 10. I think that was a 10, to be honest with you. And my stroke order was correct. Now, Exit was the last character, but then I remembered music. So we have one more character to learn after this one, or to review. We've already learned them. I need to review them. So, Exit, really easy. It looks like fire followed by a mouth. But that character, the square, the empty square, open box, its mouth, but it also means door. So I should also mention that. If you see that, I'm talking about exit, entry, any doorway. So you tell me, how did I do? I think I did very well, and my stroke order was definitely correct. So now let's move on to music, the character that I forgot for my review. And I did also learn music teacher or musician during my previous lessons, but I didn't include it here. But what you can do is just take this character for music and add right next to it the character for for master or teacher. And there you have it, music master, music teacher. But here we are forming music, and it looks similar to so many characters at this point. So many characters are starting to blend together, and that's why it's really important for me to do these reviews, because I can make videos all day of me learning one character at a time, but when it came to preparing for this review, I actually had to sit down and study. And it wasn't like the first review, because the first review I learned some characters and they were fresh. Now I'm like over 50 characters in, and it's really easy to forget. It's so easy. There's starting to, be slight similarities between the characters, throw me off. So I hope that you enjoyed this little review and you practiced alongside me, and then do a self-assessment just like I did. I give myself overall an A-. I give myself a 9 out of 10 for this entire review. So thank you, and see you in the next review.